Okay, so let's talk about my technical stock analysis for your VLL. A while back, you mentioned that you went all in to VLL. As a rule of thumb, I would advise that you don't go all in on any particular stock, regardless if we are talking about your long-term investment portfolio or whether you're just doing some short-term trading activities. The reason for this is that not going all in is part of the risk management strategy that I teach everyone here at Equalist Analytics. So if you have, let's say you have a 1 million portfolio size. Let's say the size of your portfolio is roughly 1 million pesos. I would advise that you should only allocate 20 to 25% of your portfolio's total size to a particular stock, to any stock actually. 20 to 25% on only. Do not allocate more than 25% of your total portfolio size to any particular stock, regardless if you are doing long-term investing or short-term trading. That's part of the risk management. Okay, so don't go all in. Distribute uh, the the other 20% of your portfolio to other stocks so as to limit the risks that where you're being open. Okay, now let's deep dive into my technical stock analysis on VLL. So the immediate support level that I see on VLL sits at 5.10, while the immediate resistance is now pegged at 5.89. So just today, VLL managed to break above the previous resistance level at 5.54. So at the moment, VLL now plays at 5.60. So the good side of this, volume-wise, this ascent of VLL is supported by volume. So I would say that, especially for the past four trading days, including today's trading day, I would say that VLL is trading with a volume that's moving above its 30-day moving average. So what's in it? What's in it whenever a stock's price is moving bullishly while its volume is moving above the 30-day volume average? What's in that combination? For me, if a stock is moving bearishly price-wise and it gains support, or I mean if its volume is moving above its 30-day volume average, I would say that the ascent of that stock, the price of that stock is highly likely to continue. I will have a stronger conviction to say that the ascent of this price is more likely to continue than if the volume is moving below the 30-day volume average. So in reverse, if a stock's price is moving bearishly and its 30-day volume average and its recent volume is moving below or above the 30-day volume average, then the descent of that price is more likely to continue. So in the case of VLL, since we see a green candlestick and its volume for today is moving, the combination of its volume for the past 2 to 4 trading days is moving above the 30-day volume average, then I would say that I can see a data-driven basis to say that its ascent is more likely to continue. Just be on top of your trailing stop loss, just in case this this stock will move in contrarian or in contradictory to my bullish forecast. Okay, so just be on top of your trailing stop loss. We have a newsletter. Just log in onto your account and then go straight to the newsletters tab. I sent a newsletter in the past that talks about the concept of trailing stop loss. You must know what this trailing stop loss is and how you can incorporate it into your investment decisions. Now, as far as VLL's position above the 10-day moving average, which is the green line that you see here. Do you see the green line, the yellow line, and then the blue line? As far as its position above the 10-day simple moving average, I would say that VLL is bullish, at least in a short-term time period. But when we check its position on a long-term time perspective, I would say that VLL needs to break out above the 6.0 territory or level, so that it would regain its position, its bullish position in the long-term time perspective. Why 6.0? Because that's the intersection, or that's the point um, where the 200-day simple moving average is positioned, this blue line. Better yet, if VLL could break out above 6.42, another resistance level, and then that's the VLL then would then have a better position, a better bullish position in the long-term time perspective. But before it could break out above 6.42, it needs to break the immediate resistance level, which is now sitting at 5.89. Okay, so that's my interpretation of VLL's position, bullish or bearish position based on a long-term and short-term time perspectives. Now let's take a look at its net foreign fund flow. Um, Despite the bullish ascent in terms of price of VLL, I do not see any strong appetite from the foreign investors to accumulate on this stock. As we can see, as you can see here, I have already zoomed out the chart of VLL, and majority of these net foreign bars that we see on this chart are all pointing to the south, meaning to say foreign fundies did most of the activities of the foreign fundies, at least for the past 12 months, majority of those are net foreign selling days. So it's safe to say for me that at least for the past 12 months, the status of VLL in terms of net foreign fund flow is on a bearish position. Okay. Now, for the position of VLL on MACD and RSI, I would say that VLL MACD shows a bullish signal because the MACD line is crossing above the signal line, and fortunately MACD is now moving above the zero line. So if you are familiar with my 10-day SMA and MACD combination, I would say that VLL gets a buy signal from that combination. How is that so? My 10 SMA and MACD combination, I use this combo to determine if there is a buy signal for a particular stock. When does the buy signal appears on this combination of indicators? When the price is moving above the 10-day simple moving average, and when MACD is moving above the signal line, which is the red line, regardless if both are below or above the zero line, when that appears, or when that combination happens, then I get a buy signal. So in this case, VLL's price is moving above the 10-day simple moving average, and MACD is moving above the signal line. Therefore, that's a buy signal for me. Now, even though it's a buy signal, again, do not go all in. If you have some extra cash, I would say you just have to buy in tranches. But since you said that you already went all in on VLL, I would say hold your position in VLL and try to rebalance your portfolio. Again, that's part of risk management and overall portfolio management. Now for the RSI, even though RSI is already moving inside the classical overbought territory, you should base your decision on whether you should sell or not on your trailing stop loss. For as long as the price is moving above, take note, above, not below. For as long as the price is moving above your trailing stop loss, you should be fine with your position on any stock. Okay? Why the trailing stop loss? Because your trailing stop loss is computed using your risk tolerance percentage. You will know more about this once you've read that newsletter that I sent before, which is focused on the computation of trailing stop loss and why you should incorporate it in your trading arsenal. So that's what I see on the chart of VLL. Now let me give you a tour on what I see on the price volume distribution chart and top 10 players chart of VLL. First up, let's move with the top 10 players chart. So what you see on your screen right now is the top 10 players chart of VLL as of 3:08 p.m. this afternoon, Philippine time zone. So out of 10 major players or brokers, only 3 registered a positive net amount, meaning to say they are on uh, net buying mode. The rest of them are on a net selling mode. Okay, so CLSA takes the lead in trading this particular stock, followed by PNB Securities, and then followed by COL Financial. Um, what you need to take note here is this. For these statistics at the bottom of this chart, so there's a total of 46 participants or brokers who have traded VLL today. Out of those 46 participants, 11 of which registered 100% buying activity, meaning to say those 11 brokers did nothing but buy shares of VLL. Interestingly, 16 out of those 46 brokers registered, in contrary, 100% selling activity. Now, for the top 10 players buying average, which is 5.55, and the top 10 players selling average 5.56, I would say that there seems to be a tag of war between the bears and bulls that are trading VLL today. Now let's go back to the chart and let's see where the current price is. So VLL is currently trading at 5.60 as of the time of checking, and the broker's top 10 buying average is at 5.55, while their selling average is at 5.56. How do I interpret these statistics then? Am I bullish? Am I bearish based on what I see on the top 10 players chart? Well, despite the dominant number of brokers who registered 100% selling activity on VLL, and despite the dominant number of brokers who registered a red bar on this chart, I would say that VLL is still on a bullish position. How did I say so? Because their buying average is still very close. It's still very close to the intraday high or to the current price of VLL. Now, since I've mentioned intraday high, let's take a look at the intraday high and intraday low of VLL. So let's maximize this window so we can check it out properly. So the intraday high of VLL is at 5.63, while its intraday low is at 5.38. So let's get the mean of those two numbers. So 5.63, then 5.38. Let's take a look. 5.63 and then 5.38. So we have 5.63 and then 5.38. Let's get the mean of those two numbers. Okay, so for a faster calculation, let's use a calculator. So we got 5 point, let's check again, 5.63 plus 5.38, and then divided by 2, we get 5.5. So with the 5.51, rounding it off to the nearest hundredth, we get 5.51. Now with the top 10 players buying average position at 5.55, that's 4 points, no? 4 points higher than the mean of the intraday high and intraday low. So I would say I now have a data driven basis to say that VLL has a bullish position based on my interpretation of its top 10 players chart, being that its top 10 players buying average is still above the median of today's intraday high and intraday low. Now, moving on to the price volume distribution chart of VLL. So here's the chart of VLL. Okay, let's maximize this chart. As you can see here, these bars, the longest bars, are positioned towards the upper level of our price volume distribution chart. And by the way, the price at the very top represents the intraday high, while the price at the very bottom represents the intraday low. When bulk or when the longest bars with the biggest or highest number of trades are positioned toward near or towards the intraday high, then we can easily say that this stock is experiencing a bullish intraday sentiment. So obviously the longest bars are parked towards the intraday high. So um, we can safely say that VLL is indeed experiencing a bullish intraday sentiment. Now let's take a look at the VWAP or volume weighted average price. Now the volume weighted average price is at 5.69, meaning to say, let's go back to the chart, 5.69. Or I'm sorry, I stand corrected. That's 5.57 at least. So 5.57. So meaning to say, the average, the VWAP is somewhere here. That's 5.57. So let's take a look at the other average numbers. So for the top 5 prices, so we got 5.58, 5.6, 5.59, 5.59, 5.62, 5.57. So at the very least, here's how you can use this data to make a buying decision. So the top 5 prices with the biggest number of trade and biggest size of volume starts at 5.57 up to 5.57 up to 5.62. So 5.57 up to 5.62. Therefore, you can park your let's say you are in a buying position right now on VLL. Let's say you did not go all in on VLL, and let's say there is still more room for you to top up on your VLL investments. Let's say you only allocated 10% of your overall portfolio size on VLL, therefore you still have more room to top up on it. So let's stick with that scenario. So I could just illustrate how you can use this data to plot or to position yourself on how to use this as candidates for buying positions. So from 5.57 to 5.62, you can use those. How many price points are those? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you get 5 price points that you can use as candidates to buy. That's where you can park your that's where you can position your buying price. So when you go to the bid-ask spread, of course you will have to check on the ask spread. That's where you buy on ask, you sell on bid. So just take a look at your ask spread and see if there's a strong demand, of there's a high volume waiting to be that are being sold anywhere between those price points, 5.57 and 5.62. So that's where you can place your buying price. So this is my technical analysis for VLL. If you have any question, or if there's something that is not quite clear to you, or that's not quite clear based on my explanation, don't hesitate to drop a comment on our private clients forum, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you.